Welcome back to Frustrated User Guide. Well, as usual, I'm starting my video halfway through the job. And what I have today is a Temu Special. It's a model LML-03 garden mower lift, also known as an RY Jack 4202. I bought the lift from Temu on May 24, 2026 for $54.86. Now I'm making this video because the assembly and usage instructions on YouTube are for the most part total BS. In fact, I doubt that some of those people have ever even used a lawn mower lift. So at this point, my 2012 Poulan XT, it's 2026, so it's been 14 years. I've never changed the blades. Well, it's got a new set of blades on it now. So what you're seeing here, they tell you to put it on a flat surface. This is a cement patio. I'm leaning it up against the garage wall. Some important questions and answers. I did not have to take off the bagger hood. You can see the bagger hood is up against the shingles. How high is it off the ground? Let's measure this. Okay, the distance to here, just under 21 inches. Now, I didn't really trust this jack, so you'll notice I have some scrap wood under these beams. So in case something let go here, I had at least something else holding up the assembly. What about tools? What tools did we use to do the job? Well, it's on this model, the socket is a 5/8 half inch. I've got a couple of breaker bars here. Also, once you break the thing loose, you're going to need something to unscrew it because my fingers aren't strong enough. So a spinner like this is a good idea. Gives you a little bit more torque. Or you can just use a regular ratchet. Now I have two breaker bars here. I used the longer one to get the second blade on that back deck. Let's take a look at that. Here's the first new blade, 5/8 bolt, tightened to 50 foot-pounds. The new blades are quite rusty, but still sharp. And there's the second blade. With the longer breaker bar, I was able to get that one from this side as well. I didn't have to jack up the mower a second time from the opposite side. In my opinion, that's what's wrong with half the videos I saw on YouTube. They do show the mower lifted a second time from the opposite side. I was always taught never to do that. Let me show you why. Okay, here's the air cleaner. There's a foam element in here. Here's your fuel tank. Fuel is coming out, going through the filter into the carb. Now, if we were to lean this the opposite way, all of this fuel, which you can see now is on the opposite side of the tank, would have run down here, flooded the carburetor, soaked the foam air cleaner element. I haven't really looked at this in a while. Let's see what it looks like. Well, here's your element. It looks pretty clean. See, it's not all dripping with fuel, which it would be if we did what others are recommending. Whether it's a push mower or self-propelled mower, you're never supposed to tilt it so that all the fuel runs into the air cleaner and floods the carburetor. But yet, even the factory videos, that's what you see them doing. So very, very strange that they would do that. Now, Let's go around here. Yes, I did disconnect the plug. Definitely don't want this starting while you're working on it. And I have a bungee cord tied around the deflector chute, so I didn't want to risk damaging it. Now, how far from the garage wall am I? Well, from the fender, I would say that's 14-15 inches. For this mower anyways. Alright, let's let this down. Take out all my blocks. I've got one here, two more there. Let's let it down and we'll talk about actual assembly of the device, because these instructions, these are the worst instructions for any product I have ever seen. Okay, let's talk about this ball bearing. Here at the bottom of the assembly, there is a 3-piece ball bearing. Those come loose. They're not attached. I guess they are attached here, but where do they go? Do they go here? Do they go up in here? Do they go here? There's no instructions whatsoever as to what you're supposed to do with those things. Not even on the manufacturer's videos, not in the instructions. It's like nobody knows what to do with that bearing. So there's a cupped washer here. There's a ball bearing assembly in the middle. Another cupped washer on the bottom. They don't tell you to pack it with grease, but I sure did. You've seen frozen bearings where the ball bearings don't even move and they're all rusty. Well, these got packed with grease, so at least they have a fighting chance. Then at the bottom, underneath here, there's another washer, and supposedly there's supposed to be a hitch pin, but what we got was a cotter pin. So there are 5 pieces. That's where my 5 went. Now, is that correct? I don't know. Neither does anyone else, because if they knew, they would make it clear in the instructions. That's where I put mine. Now, if you can look up here, you can see this is kind of racked. Oh, and also, even though this was packed fairly well, the threaded rod is bent, and you're going to see that when I let this down. A lot of people in the comments complain that their threaded or lift rod was bent. Well, mine's bent as well. Whether that got bent in shipping, whether it was bent at the factory, I really don't know. It still works, but it's bent. Now, we get 6 of these bolts, and this is one of these nylon lock washer locking nuts. I think the bolt is kind of too long, but you get 6 of them. As far as I can tell, on this particular model, there's only places to put 4 of them. This is where one goes. This is your power drill attachment. Now, you would think, I thought, maybe you're supposed to put a socket here. Well, 10 is too small and 11 is too big. So are the SAE sizes. Either it's too small or it's too big. So one guy online just clamped his drill on here, and that's what worked for him. I tried it. That's what seemed to work for me. So as far as a socket size to fit this, don't know what it is. Nothing I have will fit it. But you can clamp your drill. So what drill did I use? This is a cheap Harbor Freight Bauer drill. I have it on the number 2 is the power setting. 1 wasn't strong enough. Right now I'm about 18 on the torque. Alright, let's get it connected, see if we can get this down. Okay, now before I drop it, I want to talk about this assembly. Because if you drop it too far, there are 2 pins. There's a pin going this way and a pin going this way. And if you drop this threaded rod too far, this is going to fall down below here. It'll fall out of this cavity. There's no spacer. There needs to be a spacer here. I didn't get one, but I'm going to try to make one out of a piece of plastic pipe or something. There has to be a spacer here, because otherwise, when you drop this, if you drop it too far, you can't jack the thing back up again without fiddling with this. There's a piece missing. It's not shown in the instructions, but you definitely need a pacer here. So just be careful when you drop this. As soon as this orange piece touches here, stop. That's what I learned. All right, let's try it. You're going to see this thing wobble. Okay, here we go. Look how this thing. Now be careful when you get down here. It's the mistake I made. I think that's good enough. Don't go any further. Okay, we got the plug wire reconnected. Let's see if it'll start and drive off the jack. Started right up as usual. I guess we did not flood it. Okay, so tear this down now and remove this lock. This plugs in there. And this is supposed to just lay down like that, which is wonderful. Then you can stand it up and store it. Oh yes, now the next thing. When you put this together, this piece right here that I'm pointing to can go either way. So it's not obvious right now where this should be when you're screwing the threaded rod in. Actually, it doesn't screw in, it just fits into a bushing here. Then there's a washer and a cotter pin, although the instructions show a hitch pin. Now, it's possible for this to flip completely over, and then you'll be putting the threaded rod in this way from the top instead of coming in from the bottom. Bottom line is, this is all together, but it's confusing as to, there's two ways to put the threaded rod in. What you want to do is flip this out. Make sure that it's flipped out like this. It can't be inside. They don't tell you that. It's got to be flipped out. See how this goes? Because if you have it on the inside and you're trying to put the rod in, that would be wrong and it doesn't work. And here's the space that I was talking about that needs a spacer, because if you drop this into this area, this piece just spins around and it doesn't catch anymore and your jack won't work. There needs to be a spacer here to stop you from lowering it any lower than that. So I'm going to have to take this apart and fix that with a piece of plastic pipe or something. Now the other confusion I had when putting this together, to save shipping, this assembly is collapsed. So they have you spread it out, it's very tight. Also, these holes are not knocked out. I had to knock them out with a punch. You had these, they just didn't knock out the holes for the bolts. So this is where 3 bolts go. Remember, we got 6 of these, right? 3 have gone there. 1 goes here. You also get the hand crank. A lot of work when I was about, everyone today has a power drill, so Where do the other two bolts go? So, instructions say to attach all the nuts and bolts. Well, where do they go? I don't know. I can't see any place that they might go. I don't know. Obviously, the manufacturer doesn't know. The people selling this don't know. We have some holes here. What would they do if we put them there? They do nothing. But they did give us extras. So lots of head scratching, and I just determined, well, I don't know where they go. A closer look at the bearing assembly. You can see I packed quite a bit of grease there. There's a bushing that's already been pressed into this piece. You have the ball bearing right there, and then two concave washers that give a raceway for the bearings to roll on. Oh, also, when they put these cotter pins in, they didn't bend them back, so you had lots of sharp edges sticking out. It's real cheap, but it did work for me. Maybe I'll get another 12 years out of it before I have to use it again. I don't know. It did work. So now, how am I going to store this? All right, let me show you what I've come up with for storage. So yep, you can stand it up like this and store it against the wall. But two things are going to fly away on you. This is your lift screw. So I've held it to the center beam with a small bungee cord. And likewise, this will flip out. And I've held that in place as well with a small bungee cord. Because otherwise, as you move this around, everything is falling over on you. Now, I did bend over this cotter pin because that was quite sharp and dangerous. There's the one that's on the bottom of the threaded rod. So, less than $60. Occasional use, yes. Yes, I would say it's worth it. I'm glad that I have it. I wish the instructions were better. If you know where those extra two bolts and nuts go, let me know, because I don't know. If I put the bearing together wrong, right here, let me know. But I think that's how it goes. So I hope this helps someone. Frustrated user guide. What should be simple always has a lot of head scratching, at least for a guy like me. Thanks for watching.